Alright, fitness folk, this is my wife Michelle, and she has expressed interest in wanting to squat better, but something is getting her hung up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to find out what's going on first. So Michelle, why don't you go ahead and hop down into the bottom of your squat sit. I'm trying to get the readout as a trainer, she's trying to get a readout as the athlete, just trying to figure out what's going on here. We're just looking for any egregious errors or anything that really pops out right out of the gate. So I'm going to ask her first, what do you feel when you're doing that squat?
I feel like my hips are tight, and I feel like my kind of ankle area
Is tight, like bones ramming up against each other?
Yeah.
Okay, and so what I saw was one knee was kind of shifting this way, okay? So one knee was like, and all of that is tight hips. So what we're going to do is we're going to address that by stretching it out a little bit. We're going to start off with the real easy one. We're going to do a sumo squat. So I want you to take your feet out pretty stinking wide. I want you to turn your feet out just a little bit. Yep, there you go. Now I want you to come on down here like this. And I just want you to use your hands to push those knees as far away from each other as possible, okay? And then what you're going to do is then you try to sink down a little bit lower into that squat. You can kind of rock to the left, rock to the right. Do you feel that stretch right there in your adductors?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I'm going to have her do is I'm going to have her do this for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. If it's really tight, we're going to go for 2 minutes. If it's kind of tight, we're just going to go for a minute. So we're going to hang out here for just a second, and then we're going to do another stretch just to make sure we cover everything. Okay, so we did that for a couple minutes. Now we're going to move on to another stretch. We're going to do the frog sit. So Michelle, I want you to plop down onto your quadruped position. And when you're getting set up for this frog sit, it's very important to start with your hips directly over your knees. Now, go ahead and send those knees as far off to the side as you possibly can. Really far. Now, once you have your knees as far as you can, then you can either sink backwards or you can bring your body forwards. Doesn't matter, whichever one gives you more of a stretch here in your adductors. Now, it's not necessary to do both of these stretches, just pick the one that is more aggressive. So you're going to do the same thing here, spend about 1 minute to 2 minutes just stretching everything out. Alright, so we've stretched that out for a couple of minutes. Now, Michelle, I'm going to have you go ahead and hop up onto your feet, and I want you to go ahead and get back into your squat sit. We don't need to be here super long, we just need to see if we're better, same, or worse than when we started. So how does that feel? Better, same, worse?
Feels better.
Okay, so if it feels better, that's a step in the right direction, but we need our knees to be in the same symmetry. We also need our lower back to not round out a little bit. Now this could be because our upper back is not very engaged, it could be because our adductors are still tight, but if it feels better, then we're heading in the right direction. Okay, stretching the tight areas is only half the problem. You have to make sure that if this muscle is way too tight, it means that something is not pulling the weight like it's supposed to be. And in most 21st century dwellers, that's going to be your butt cheeks. So Michelle, I want you to hop down and we're going to do some glute bridges. Now, it's not important to do these for a grotesque amount of time. You just need to be intentional and aggressive with a little bit of time. So I'm going to have you hold this up here for 10 seconds as hard as you possibly can. So do you feel it in your butt cheeks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So all I'm going to have her do this is for about 4 more seconds, and then I'm going to have her plop down. I don't need her to be up there for very long, and relax. Right? You feel that? So what you want to do is you repeat that cycle 3 to 4 times, just 10-second holds, really focusing on making sure that you're feeling it here in your butt cheeks. You might feel it a little bit in your hamstrings, that's okay. You don't want to feel it on the front side of your legs. You want to make sure that it's called the glute bridge. You should feel it in your glutes. Okay, one more time for the squat sit, Michelle. I want you to try to get your glutes to feel like they did during that glute bridge. So come on down to the bottom of this squat sit. Try to get your glutes to feel the same exact way. Now, do you feel better, same, or worse?
That feels better.
There we go. All right, go ahead and face me. Same thing. So it feels better. Flexing, stretching everything is great, but we got to make sure everything is actually stable after you get nice and flexible, okay? So, same thing, better, same, worse?
Better.
Okay, so there we go, gang. So that's what we're going for, gang. If you have one muscle that's too tight, you got to stretch that out and figure out what's not pulling its weight so you can get down there into a pain-free, comfortable squat.